Thank you for listening to the Business Blast podcast. So for all my listeners out there that have been wanting to do your own podcast, I'd like to introduce to you Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. So before I found Anchor, I had never actually done a podcast because all the research that I had gathered made it seem very complex. Then I found Anchor, and Anchor makes podcasting extremely simple. So if you want to do your own podcast, go to anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with the support you need to finish your book. Best part is, after you finish your book, they take care of the entire publishing and marketing process 100% for you. So, if you want to become a successful author, make sure to check out authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Tami Matheny with us. She owns Refuse2LoseCoaching and is the author of The Confident Athlete. As a mental game coach, she works with coaches, athletes, and teams on areas such as confidence, focus, mental toughness, and teamwork. Matheny has a passion for sports and how the mental game affects performance. As an athlete, coach, administrator, and now mental game coach, she has seen firsthand the difference mental toughness coupled with physical training translates into individual and or team success. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course, pumped to have you here. So the first one we ask is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
It would actually be writing The Confident Athlete. As a student, I always had good grades except for writing. I would get papers back, reports back, A on material, D minus on your writing. And so I just had this thought in my head that I couldn't write. Actually, an English teacher handed me back a report with an F on it because she said it was written too well to be mine. And I actually had written it. So throughout my life, I just kind of clung on to this self-fulfilling prophecy that I couldn't write. Then I started a book with a partner, and he was going to do the writing and I was going to provide the material. Then he was offered a full-time job that didn't allow him to write. So I was again left thinking, I can't do this on my own. And luckily I had a friend remind me of what I teach athletes, and it kind of forced myself to step outside my comfort zone. So the writing The Confident Athlete was kind of a game changer for my life.
And what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
That confidence is just like a physical skill. It's not this magical thing that we're born with or without, that if we work on it daily, we can grow and maintain it.
And what is your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
I know your why. I think when you know why you're doing what you're doing, then it becomes your guide and it helps you navigate the rough, unknown paths.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Don't worry about what others think. Be confident in myself without needing feedback from others.
And in your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
I would say being true to yourself. When your actions match your values, life becomes much easier and happier.
And then what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
That was a tough one, but I would say The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. He uses a story of a man that's lost everything and presents 7 decisions that get you back to success. And the first one was the buck stops here, and that basically I'm responsible for everything. I control my thoughts, I control my emotions, and I'm responsible for my success.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
Do you want to be right or successful? And I would say it's my favorite quote. I still struggle with always wanting to be right. And I kind of have to catch myself. I can argue this and I may be right, but is it going to help me be successful?
I love it. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. The last one I have for you before we let you go is, where can our audience best find you online?
Okay, I have a website, www.refuse2LoseCoaching.com. And I'm on Twitter at Tami, TamiMatheny.
Perfect. Thanks again for coming on.
Well, thank you, Tyler.